Hello and welcome to A&E TV, and thanks for joining us on this special Ramadan episode. Today we're joined by Kamilla Omarzay, the founder of Snack Society, who's going to be talking to us about all things food. Hi Kamilla.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
And to kick things off, what can you tell us about the snacks that you've created for Ramadan?
In Ramadan, as you know, if you've lived in Dubai for long enough or you know about Ramadan, it's all things food. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that, it's a highlight of any iftar is sweets and desserts.
Yeah.
Especially for me, I look forward to the dessert part all day long. You can be hungry, but you still want dessert. So I thought just put a healthy spin on things, because you don't eat the whole day and your sugar levels just drop. And then when you load it up with sugar, your insulin rises, and then you just suddenly, and then you drop, your energy levels drop. So to kind of keep, things up there, I thought maybe replace the sugar with maple syrup, date syrup, and dates. Okay. So process dates in a food processor and turns into a nice paste, which serves like a caramel sauce, or coconut sugar. So a healthy spin. And instead of like flour, which contains gluten, which could be inflammatory to your system, I replaced it with coconut flour and gluten-free options. Okay. So I thought you can still enjoy your treats and put a healthy spin on it.
You're making me hungry. And what about sugar cravings for those that are fasting? How do you kind of cope with that if you have sugar cravings throughout the day?
I think if you're going to fast all day, I know it's a pain to wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning and eat. You'd rather sleep. I'd rather sleep. But it is so important to wake up and have a little bit, and that kind of keeps your sugar levels, your insulin, stable. Okay. I mean, you will have that drop in the afternoon or midday when you're used to your afternoon coffee or late afternoon. But it kind of keeps, it helps keeps things a bit stable. Yeah. And have a meal like you would have it for breakfast. So eggs, porridge. Yeah. I would recommend having a breakfast meal, because it is somehow breakfast, and then you go into intermittent fasting somewhat. Yeah. You miss your breakfast, your lunch, and then you go straight into dinner. So that does help things, but it all depends on what you eat. Obviously, if you have junk food, if you have a bag of crisps or biscuits, it'll make you feel so much horrible and thirsty because of the salt content and the sugar content. Okay.
So things that aren't too salty as well as too sugary, you'd say?
I would, but at the end of the day, we're human and we're going to crave. If you're going to deprive your body of everything for 15, 16 hours a day, you are bound to crave. But it's always recommended to break your fast or start your fast with something healthier. Okay. I try to keep that for the first week or two. I'm all on board, and then it reaches a point where you're like, you know what? I just need to get through this. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. And what about, as you mentioned, breaking your fast? What sorts of things would you recommend having for that?
You haven't eaten for so long, and your stomach kind of shrinks. Yeah.
So
just loading it with carbs or something fried, which a lot of people do, I would recommend something more soothing for the stomach, like soup. Yeah. Also try to avoid, a lot of cold drinks or hot drinks. Maybe I would avoid totally soft drinks or carbonated drinks. Yeah. Stuff like that. Soup is the best thing. It's just soothing. It kind of allows your system to get going. I like to think of the body as a machine. You're going to turn on, especially, for example, it doesn't rain rain a lot or snow in Dubai. But if it were to, what would you do? You turn on the car and you just keep it going for a while. That's,
warm it up a little bit.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And what about iftar? What for you makes the perfect iftar in terms of food?
I don't know if everybody would agree to this, everybody watching, but I think a perfect plate of a good proportion of carbs, protein, veggies, because if you look at, you're not eating for so long and your body still requires the vitamins, the minerals, the micros and the macros. So you have to make sure to eat a little bit of everything. But the last thing you want to eat is healthy food. You just want to stuff your face with everything. But I recommend, and with my family, that's what we do. So we'll have a carb component, a protein, and veggies. And if it's on the table, if it's there,
Yeah.
you're gonna eat it.
Yeah, because you're going to be hungry. so-
Exactly. Yeah.
And what about things to stop you getting hungry during the daytime? What else would you recommend to have early in the morning so that you don't get that?
I think something a bit more filling, like oats, porridge. You can't have that every day. You're gonna get bored of it. But different variations now. Like veganism has taken a whole different twist. You just have to like Google porridge, and unlike a couple of years ago, now it's like there's so many different variations. Overnight porridge, chia seed, and so something a bit more filling. Or I would say, if you're not vegan, you can eat eggs. That's quite filling with a nice piece of brown toast, avocado, something that's a bit more filling, but it's not too sweet or too salty, because then you could tend to get thirsty during your day.
Okay. And looking forward a little bit to Eid, what sorts of things will you be cooking, and what can we kind of have our eye on to make for the Eid celebrations?
I try to keep everything like throughout the year, like the identity and the concept behind the Snack Society is to put a healthier twist on everything. And I don't say that you can eat a full cake and you're not going to get fat. A calorie is a calorie is a calorie. Yeah. So if I substitute dates still has, it's natural sugar, but it still has sugar, it still has calories. So, so I try to keep that concept consistent throughout the year. For each occasion, I try to cater to that particular occasion. So Eid is more, it's a Middle Eastern, Islamic tradition. So I try to incorporate spices like saffron and cinnamon and stuff like that. And then as we go, like Christmas would be more mince pies and, pumpkin pie and that sort of things. And then, of course, we live in Dubai. We celebrate everything from like Diwali to Easter to everything. So, I just take, there's some things that you can put a healthier twist on, like, for example, like puff pastry. Puff pastry, you need the proper stuff. So there's a few things, I've tried and, failed, but for Eid, it would be more, I try to make cakes and sweets with a little bit of saffron and cinnamon and dates, a lot of dates, obviously,
Okay. And what's your guilty pleasure when it comes to food?
Food or dessert?
Both.
Dessert would be donuts. I do love a good donut. And food would be burgers. I don't think anything beats burgers and fries. And milkshake.
Okay, Kamilla, thank you so much. That's our final question. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.